The subject of the talk today is from Aaaaa to Ooh. Dejobaan's next project. We are in fact 10 years old. We weren't a real company for 10 years, so we don't applaud that loud. I just wanted to thank all you guys for coming here. You know, I know there are a bunch of people who don't normally come, there are a bunch of people whom I forced to come, and there are a bunch of people who came despite the fact that we were talking, and I appreciate all of that. For those who don't know, we are Dejobaan Games. I'm Ichiro, this is Leo. We're responsible for a number of indie titles. We're a small studio around the Boston area. You guys already know this shit, so I'm not going to perseverate on that. This talk is about what we are doing in 2010 and what we think other studios are missing. That includes studios like, for example, Firehose Games, and, McMuffin Games, and so forth. I mean, for God's sakes. I do want to say that this is stuff that we have in progress, stuff that we've based on our previous experience, but until the end of 2010, we won't be able to tell you if it works, so take everything we say with a grain of salt. Big one. Okay, so reckless disregard for gravity. For short, base jumping game where you leap off a perfectly good building, you create your own stunts, and you flip people off for points. I think we did well on this. Gamers love this. PAX invited us to be part of the Boston Indie Showcase. Gambit was kind enough to give us a booth at PAX as well. We've gotten lots of fan support. Just yesterday, some random dude from the internet emailed me his YouTube video of his cheat. He found this cheat where you can climb up a tower and then fly down it, and then climb up again and fly down it and get infinity points. I think this is really great. People would only do this if they love what we're doing. The critics also loved the game, by and large. We were finalists in the IGC. We got a win from ModDB. Metacritic singled us out in an article about the best PC titles of 2009. And the Aaaaa is often compared to Mirror's Edge, and we outscored them. Whoa. So I think they made more money than we did, though. Publishers also loved us. We started on Steam, and we've been working our way, into the hearts and minds of publishers. And most recently, who here knows about OnLive? Okay, so I won't describe it, but we were one of about a dozen games at launch for OnLive, and we were one of 3 or maybe 4 indies. One of 2. We were the only indie on OnLive, and hopefully that'll do well for us. Apparently, we also suck because when I told Eitan how many units that we had sold a number of months ago, he was disappointed.
Because it's an awesome game.
It is such an awesome game. Thank you. Yes. But actually we did relatively well with it, so I'm very happy. How do we follow up a good 2009 with a 2010? Well, I learned a mistake early on in my career, which is that if a game is doing well for you and people are clamoring for more, don't tell them no, tell them yes. So we're doing something called Aaaaa for the Awesome, which is essentially a gold version of Aaaaa. I also, I didn't want to be a one-trick pony, though, so we did something called Ooh, or working on Ooh, which is, we call these names very, becomes when we're talking about it. Hey, how's doing? This is becoming, this is Ooh. What is it? The high concept for the game is that you take your MP3 library and that creates worlds. You fly and fight through these worlds, and then you tweak these worlds. You tweak the genomes of these worlds to make them change and grow. So we call it Aaa's anti-sequel. It is similar to Aaaaa, but substantially different. Yes, I didn't mean to spell that incorrectly. These 2 games form the bulk of our 2010. And Arthur, I'm going to ask you to stop taking photographs with me because it's okay. So the big question is, how are we going to create this game? We're also going to talk about how we're going to promote the game and how this all ties in together. Obviously, these traditional tried and tested AAA methods are not going to work. I especially am unfond of number 2, the Field of Dreams method. You know, if you build it, they will come. That never actually happens. So again, this is our plan in progress. If it works out, we will be in business in 12 months. So listen to us then, maybe not now. And then a free tip here is whenever you get a plan or when you're in your planning stage, as we were, write it down, write it out. We make use of Google Wave an awful lot, so we will sit down together and we will ask questions about the company. Like, for example, what are we doing in 2010? Or we'll write down a question, what is this game about? And we'll come up with maybe 20 to 50 questions, and then we'll start answering these questions, and then this becomes our plan. This is, in fact, a $0 cash value coin. Those who know Dejobaan probably know this diagram, this philosophy well. We think that marketing and game design and development are pretty much the same thing. It is completely cyclic. What starts in marketing filters its way into design, development, and of course development is what you end up marketing. What marketing starts with is creating something that people are actually going to want to buy. If you create a game that you build for yourself that's like another game, that is wonderful. However, it may not buy you more than the ramen noodles that you're gonna get from your mom buying 10 copies of the game, which did happen to me once. If you're, even if you're an artist, you're creating an art game. You have an audience that is going to consume the game, so you have to make the game for that particular audience. So you have to, or we try to think about our games from the standpoint of what is going to sell. And we do this by thinking, what's hot right now? Are sandbox games in? Is it a matter of, I don't know, massively multiplayer online games or, collaborative building? What's really hot? And then we run away from that. Especially if we're a small studio, because we are not going to be able to compete with the Activisions. We're not going to be able to compete with World of Warcraft. Here's, I think, the quintessential example is the epic fantasy Warpagura. World of Warcraft, Lord of the Rings Online, Age of Conan, Tabula Rasa, may you rest in peace. All of these games are built on multi-million-dollar budget, and they're very pretty. I actually don't play these, so I don't know which is which. But if we were to create a game like this, we would be crushed. There are a lot of indies or hobbyists who go in and say, well, I play World of Warcraft. It doesn't look that difficult to create. And then they essentially create, here's my terrain, and then here's a guy running across the terrain, and that's that. Not only is it too big for one person or a small group to create, but even if you did create something that was a point-for-point reproduction of WoW, nobody would play it because it already exists. Twisting an idea is okay, so you guys know about Love by Kel Solar. No? You hear no? Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you about it. This is what it looks like. It's a massively multiplayer online game, and it is created by one person. And this is a very talented person, and his concept was that this game would be player-generated, and it would have an aesthetic that was completely different from anybody else's. So, again, taking a look, these games, very clearly AAA. This game, it looks different, and I think that's something that's very important. That's a market-driven impetus right there. So if you guys were here for the Boston Postmortem talk, you know that my point is, if you have an aesthetic, if you identify an aesthetic that big studios are chasing, like hyper-realism, go in the opposite direction. Table number, enter, that's an invalid table number. Where was I? I was at table 47. I don't know what that means. I didn't even order food. I just have this beer and I had to get it myself. Twisting is okay if it is remarkable. So, you get something like Love by Kel Solar, and it is remarkable. So obviously, do something that's remarkable. This is brainless comment right here, right? Everybody knows that you should do.